você. Qualquer coisa, você pode ir usando. Entendeu? Porque
aqui, ó, tá aberto. Good morning. Good morning. Hello. You look gorgeous. Ó, é isso que ele estava falando. Do que ela vai ouvir.
Can you hear us?
Very good or so?
Very good or so? Good.
I hear you perfectly.
Hi.
How are you? Different camera. How are you?
Good to see you. How are you?
Thank you for joining us.
Wonderful to be here.
Yeah.
Can you hear us or now can you see us?
I hear you perfectly. I hear you.
You can hear us.
Yeah.
Okay, gente, we turned off.
A câmera fica na câmera, a câmera daqui você liga para ela.
Então ela pode desligar a câmera dela.
Não, a nossa câmera aqui. Aqui, eu faço isso. Pronto. Entendeu?
Ah.
Vai ficar fechada.
Tá fechado.
Okay. Now, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So our camera on the computer is going to be off, but you're being projected onto a big screen right now.
Okay.
So it's going to stay like this for you.
Okay.
It's been the most incredible production. It just, you know, it's like so Brazilian. You think nothing's happening and then pull a massive rabbit out of a very small bag. It's just phenomenal. 8 locations simultaneously, buzzing. People from all over the world, all over Brazil have come. It's incredible. Blow my socks off.
That is wonderful. Just wonderful.
Oh, my heart's beating. I'm not good with stages and microphones. And as you can see, there's 2 seats on the stage because I was having to sit in the audience. And they were like, no, you've got to sit on stage that's not an empty seat. I'm like, really?
But now I can't see you, Shelly. Have you switched off your video?
I know.
Okay.
It's going to stay like this, though, because Paula said they don't need to project. I don't know. Well, it's something to do with production.
Okay.
We're here.
This is awesome. This is very awesome.
Still here.
Technology is great when it works.
Huh?
Para essa reunião aí, se não vai estar o presidente. Só vai ter todos os e a tradução dele com relação a acontecer qualquer você fala com parte do palestrante, Ana, preciso de estado aqui, de ajudar em alguma coisa. Quando ela precisa regular, não é
Ten more minutes.
Hey,
Just to let you know.
I'm here. Giving me time to invite a few people on LinkedIn. I'm going to go live on LinkedIn.
I can't hear you well because it's coming out through the microphone and I'm huddled up next to the computer.
Okay.
And there's lots of background noise because the production is production crew in full effect.
Right.
Really impressive.
Exciting.
I have to come next year because each year it's just getting bigger and bigger.
Oh, I definitely want to be there next year.
Yeah. Deixa eu ver a bolsão. Uma cadeira? Precisa apertar. Posso fazer um teste que eu não vou assistir.
Tipo assim, começou, né? Não precisa falar isso por essa questão de modo, né? Como se fosse uma comunicação. Isso. Não, não posso falar. As câmeras ali só para continuar o palco. E aí essa é a discussão. Se o cara não vai gravar, vai computador, ele vai começar os vídeos. Mas agora, eu play lá na gente vai avisar que a gente vai dar o play, mas ó, essa câmera não está funcionando. Mas esse momento só depois. Agora que você deu o play, aí vai ficar. Então, logo de volta.
Então, áudio tá legal.
Tirar logo.
Fecha.
Não, porque eu
Hey, starting in 10 minutes, okay? Just turning off the mic again. Three-minute countdown.
Okay.
Hey,
Hi.
so we're going to start with you introducing yourself, okay?
Okay.
In how many seconds? 10-second countdown.
Thank you.
All right, one sec. Então a gente nem precisa sentar no papo.
Oi?
A gente nem precisa sentar no papo.
Não.
E vou desligar o áudio aqui depois de.
Não olha que ela fica aberta, ela fica ouvindo. Na verdade, perdão. Se a gente já falar com ela, eu te ligo logo. Por enquanto, se fechar. Fecha.
Okay. Now I'm going to turn off the microphone here, but your voice is being projected.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
And after the countdown, which starts when?
Okay, 1,
2, 3, 4, 5. Go.
Good evening, everyone. In my native language, I would say to you, Maneru Masquera Stay, which literally translated means, good evening, how has been your day? Now, I know it's afternoon for you there in Salvador, Brazil, so I should be saying good afternoon, which is Mangwanani Masquera Sei. Thank you so much for having me here today. My name is Getrude Matshe, and it's an absolute honor to be presenting here today at the Afrofuturism conference in Salvador. I'll start with a poem that I wrote to commemorate this amazing event. The poem is called Seeds of the Future, Africa's Resilience Unfurled. They thought they had buried us in the earth, but didn't realize we are seeds, awakened to our worth. My grandmother's wisdom, a tale of old. For trees to survive, their seeds must be bold. Mother Africa, in her vast embrace, scattered her children to distant place. Through slavery's chain and the master's reign, our diaspora journey, a history of pain. Colonial masters with divisive might drew borders, kindling tribal fights, brother against brother, sister to kin, a legacy of discord, a world of sin. Economic refugees far from home, in lands unknown, we had to roam. Yet time travelers, stardust, we are born to rebuild the continent wherever we are thrown. A quantum leap into the 23rd century. With intuitive gifts, we'll rewrite our story. We will rise with unwavering might, harnessing Africa's wealth in a future so bright. Gold, oil, platinum, riches untold, for centuries plundered, our stories untold. But buried, not dead, we thrived and thrived. In fertile soil, our roots have derived. Giants before us, heroes unseen, their DNA in us, in our blood it convenes. Resilient, strong, and unbreakable bond to the motherland where we all respond. Amidst the weeds, we flourish and succeed. Roots intertwined, a powerful creed. One drop of Black blood, our key, our bond, the unbreakable chain. In unity we respond. You see, Africa is not just a place of birth, but a feeling, a heartbeat, a legacy. Defining our souls, in us it resides. Untangling our roots, no one can divide. So as we leave this conference transformed, we stand, for our minds stretched by new experiences expand. Cutting chains, we free ourselves, indeed, but cutting our roots, we won't ever concede. So let's go back to the future with hope, with joy and optimism. We'll surely cope, for our future was paid for by our masters and our ancestors' blood. For we stand on the shoulders of giants. In our veins runs their blood, our blood. Thank you. It's an absolute honor for me to share my story with you today. I was born in a small village called Wedza on the eastern highlands of Zimbabwe and Mozambique. Africa is a harsh continent, but it prepares you to live anywhere in the world. I guess the message I would love to leave with all of you is how I grew up, the challenges that I had. I was born to two amazing parents who realized that they could change the course of our lives and break the chains of poverty if they educated their children. By the time I was 14, my father would put my sister and I on a bus and send us to the city to look for jobs and apply for jobs, but not take them. You see, I was born in apartheid Rhodesia, where Black and white people didn't mix. I was born in a world where Black people had to walk on one side of the street and white people on the other side. A world where I could only walk into a shop from the back at a window and not come in through the front door. I'm 56 years old, and I remember Independence Day in Zimbabwe. My mother took me shopping, and for the first time in my life at the age of 13, I could pick things off a shelf and put them in the basket and go to the counter and be served and pay for those goods. Before Zimbabwe had independence, you had to go to the back of the shop. So every school holiday, I would go to the city, apply for jobs and not take them. My father would say, you have to learn to stand and speak in front of white people. You have to gain confidence. That school holiday, when I was 18 years old, I had 4 job offers. I had to quit school at the age of 18 because my father had lost his job and the bank was about to repossess our home. So I didn't finish my final year in high school. I had to correspond to finish. I had applied to be a nurse. I had applied to be a pilot. I had applied to be a COBOL programmer or an air hostess and got all 4 jobs. And my father sat me down and said, technology is the future. He said, there's this thing called a computer. You should take the computer programming job. It will change your life. Technology is the future. My father didn't even know what a computer was at that time. You see, my dad was a chartered accountant who studied in London, went back to Rhodesia, and could not get a white-collar job because he was Black until 1980 when Zimbabwe got independence. So he taught me to be confident by sending me to apply for jobs and not take them, to build the confidence to stand in front of white people and speak. So I became a first-generation coder. I programmed computers in BASIC, Pascal, COBOL, and Fortran, and it changed the trajectory of my life. So what is happening at this conference today really excites me, because we need to remember as African people that we have been scattered throughout the diaspora for a reason. We are time travelers. We have gone to different countries, dispersed through slavery. Some of us dispersed as economic refugees, through wars. But wherever we have landed, we have survived and we can thrive. Whatever country you are in, as part of the Africa diaspora, is the right country for you. So it's now your decision to decide, what am I going to do from here? How am I going to educate my children? How am I going to build my community and make it grow and thrive? And how am I going to learn about my roots and learn about where I come from, so that as we travel back into the future, we can do this with pride, we can do this with knowledge, knowing that in our veins runs the blood of very, very strong people. You see, for you to survive as a person of African descent, somewhere in the diaspora, in Brazil, you were transported as slaves. Can you imagine what it took for your ancestors to survive that journey in the barrels of those slave ships for months, some dying from hunger, from disease? For you to stand in Brazil in 2023, you stand on the shoulders of giants. It is in your blood. That strength is psychological, it is physical. For you to be you, you have to look back to your ancestors and realize that you are special. You are stardust, and that strength exists within you. So I'm really excited to be here today. I'm excited to be sharing with you the Diversity Atlas, which is an amazing platform that was designed to count the levels of diversity within any organization. Why is it important for us to be counted? Do you know, for me, in Australia, in New Zealand, to be able to find a job, I am discriminated just by the color of my skin. I'm discriminated because of my surname. When I moved to Australia 2 years ago, I started looking for work. I'm 56 years old. The assumption that people have when they look at me the first time is that I'm a refugee, I'm uneducated, I can't bring anything to the table. So it has been hard, it has been frustrating, relocating to a new country with so many strikes against me. Ageism, I'm over 50 years old. Racism, I'm Black. I'm female. But still, I'm able to create from wherever I'm standing. So we're going to reveal who is in the room right now. Who are the people who have come to this amazing conference? We have mapped out the level of diversity that we have right now. 54% of you took up the challenge and asked to be counted. You filled out the survey, which took only 3 minutes. So if you haven't done the survey, please continue to go onto the QR code that was given out today. Fill in your details and be seen. These surveys are important because if we have data, if we have accurate data of whoever is in the room in any organization at events like this, so much can come out of understanding who you truly are. So the QR code is going to be online for, I think, another week. Use this opportunity to be seen, to be counted, and to be heard. So we're going to go and show what is in the room, who is in the room right now. Now, Shelley, are you going to show the PowerPoint presentation? I can't hear you. If you can hear me, you must be muted. And do I need to share my screen?
Hi, yes, you're sharing the screen and sharing the PowerPoint.
Okay. So these are the results of the survey that was taken to show us who is in the room with us right now. It's really exciting to know that all of you took the time, and give me a second. I will bring this up. I actually thought it was going to be shown from there. Okay. Technology is great when it works. I'm going to try and do this another way. All right. Can you see my screen? Can I get confirmation that the screen is showing before I go into revealing the answers?
Yes. Perfect.
Fantastic. All right. So, cultural diversity event mapping. Who are we now at this amazing event? We had 54 participants who filled out, and thank you so much for doing this. We've identified 5 countries of birth, 23 ancestral groups, 21 languages and dialects, 9 distinct worldviews with 9 branches. Shelley, before I continue, did you want me to go through what Diversity Atlas is first? Because we had that in the recorded presentation.
Go straight. You can continue with the results presentation.
Okay, thank you. In terms of gender, we had 5.6 people choosing genders that are other than man or woman, which is not really a significant number. 65% women tracks with our global research on DEI, because women normally dominate this profession. In terms of ages, there was a spike in women in the early to mid 40s. The mode in both men and women is the same at that age. Sexuality, we have 37% men who are of the LGBTQI community and 28.6% females. 33.3% on non-heterosexuals is a very big number. And our study shows that people who identify in the LGBTQI community are more likely to submit to a DEI survey. Long-term conditions. When we look at diversity in terms of long-term conditions, we find that mental health is one of the most common that is selected or chosen, with a medical condition which is often the 2 most selected. In the technology industry, neurodiverse is often the most common. Some people chose not to answer this question. In terms of countries, 88% of people were from Brazil, 3.7% from the UK, 3.7% from the United States, 1.9% from Denmark, and 1.9% from Guyana. 5 countries of birth, 2 of which with only one selection, Guyana and Denmark. 39% of people lived in another country that has impacted their lives, and 8% were born in a different country to their mother.
10 more minutes, Gertrude.
Okay. In terms of our languages, Portuguese, 79%. There were 21 dialects from 14 languages. The Diversity Atlas has worked with anthropologists to map out different dialects from different language strains. It's great to see that the sign language was in the top 10. One selection of Northeast Portuguese and one selection of East Brasileira, pointing to regional dialects. The language tree view shows an expansion of these languages as well. There were 4 linguistic macro zones which were represented. In terms of worldviews, we found that Spiritism is the top selection in Brazil with 77% women, and only 2 with more men than women were agnosticism. We also had Jedi as a world view, so may the force be with them, all the Jedis in the room today. In terms of ancestry, we had 23 ancestral groups, a mix of continental European, national Italian, cultural African American, and ethnic and tribal. Really interesting to see where everybody is coming from. Cultural belongings. From just 5 countries of birth, we see 19 cultures selected, which reinforces our messaging that no continent, no country or region is a cultural monolith. Identity priorities. 43% identified as my ancestry. We saw a rich ancestral mix, and what we see here is an indication that our ancestry is very important to us and was the most commonly selected cultural and social identity priority. This is how people identified, most common selections by both men and women. Filtering priorities by gender, we see ancestry at the top of both, but within in other differences such as politics for men and religion for women. The way people identify with their appearance, only 7.4% skipped this question, which is a great result. In corporate organizations in Western countries, prefer not to answer can be as high as 30%. Now, prefer not to answer, although people don't tick this box, is actually an answer or an indication of what people think of. Appearance had a low preference not to answer rate, but religion and worldview had a notably higher one at 18.5%. Event-specific questions. 81% of people agreed that D&I is being actioned well in connection with the ESG. Then again, only 20% did not. 72% of people think these measurements are always or frequently actioned, and 68% are attending their first Afrofuturism event. So please go onto the survey queue and fill out the survey. It takes 3 minutes. What happens is when you take surveys, you give organizers, you give businesses accurate data to reflect that you are present. This is going to be up for the rest of the week. So please pull out your cell phones, take a picture of this QR code. Shelley Green is our representative there in Brazil. So Shelley, thank you so much for this amazing opportunity. Paulo, it's been an absolute honor for me to present and share these findings with your community today. I hope this has been interesting for all of you as well. So with that, I will hand back over to you to continue with the conference. I look forward to coming to Brazil next year and presenting in person. This has been an absolute honor.
Amazing, Getrude. Thank you so much. That was really insightful, moving, powerful, incredible. Thank you so much for your participation today.
It's an absolute honor. For everybody in the room, reach out to Shelley. You want to find out how you can use the Diversity Atlas in your organization and in your workplace as well.
Thank you. We hope to see you here at Afrofuturismo number 6 in Salvador, Bahia, Brazil next year.
Thank you so much. Good night, everybody, or have a good afternoon.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.